Madame C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company lasted for more than 70 years. Home for My People by Margaret Walker. For my people, everywhere singing their slave songs repeatedly, their dirges and their ditties and their blues and jubilees, praying their prayers nightly to an unknown God, bending their knees humbly to an unseen power. For the crimes bewildered years we went to school to learn, to know the reasons why and the answer to, and the people who, and the places where, and the days when, in memory of the bitter hours when we discovered we were black and poor, and small and different, and nobody cared, and nobody wondered, and nobody understood. For the boys and the girls who grew in spite of these things to be men and women, to laugh and dance and sing and play, and drink their wine and religion and success, to marry their playmates and then die of consumption and anemia and lynching. Let a new earth rise, let another world be born, let a bloody peace be written in the sky, let a second generation full of courage issue forth, let the people loving freedom come to growth, let a beauty full of healing and a strength of final clenching be the pulsing in our spirits and our blood. Let the martial songs be written, let the dirges disappear, let a race of men now rise and take control.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, to let my people go. Who's that yonder dressed in red? Let my people go. Must be the children that Moses left. Let my people go. Who's that yonder dressed in red? Must be the children that Moses left. Go tell it on the mountain, to let my people go. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, to let my people go. Who's that yonder dressed in white? Let my people go. Must be the children of the Israelite. Let my people go. Who's that yonder dressed in white? Must be the children of the Israelite. Go tell it on the mountain, to let my people go. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, to let my people go. Who's that yonder dressed in black? Let my people go. Must be the hypocrites turning back. Let my people go. Who's that yonder dressed in black? Must be the hypocrites turning back. Go tell it on the mountain, to let my people go. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain, to let my people go.
There have been many great inventors and scientists. Benjamin Franklin invented the first traffic clock. Rebecca Ford was one of the first black female doctors.
Edward Alexander Bose was the first black person to earn a PhD, and he taught college chemistry and physics.
Dr. Daniel Williams performed the first successful open heart surgery.
Charles Tour proved that it can hear. Louis Howard Latimer invented the carbon filament needed for the light bulb, which Thomas Edison did not actually invent it himself.
Morgan invented the gas mask and the traffic lights.
James West invented the same kind of microphone My name is George Washington Carver. I was born a slave, so no one is sure of my exact birthday. There were no schools for black people that I could attend when I was a boy. When I was a boy, I had to walk 10 miles to get my education. Eventually, I became one of the most famous scientists American of all time. I studied plants and discovered many ways to help farmers using simple things. I found more than 100 different ways in creating things like shampoo, paint, and even gasoline. My discoveries help farmers black and white alike. So next time you eat peanut butter, think of me.
The end of slavery meant black people could finally leave their plantation prisons and have freedom to live their own lives. Thousands left the South and headed for big cities like New York and Chicago in search of a better life. One of the new cultural centers for black people became Harlem in New York City. This is where a renaissance of black writers, artists, poets, performers, and musicians bloomed. The musical traditions of the South came north and eventually became jazz music, which quickly took over the nation and then the world. People like Langston Hughes, Louis Armstrong, Zora Neale Hurston, Duke Ellington, and Cab Calloway first gained fame here. In the 1920s, USA Harlem was a cultural pulse for America for many black citizens.
Some people call me the First Lady of Soul. Some know me as the Queen of Jazz. For short, they call me Lady Ella. I'm Ella Fitzgerald, and you can't talk about jazz unless you talk about me. I'm in musical history, singing, blues, jazz, ragtime, big band, and even pop music. My singing career lasted 60 years. I mean more than 70 albums which sold over 40 million copies. I won 13 Grammy Awards and became a legend for my singing style of spending 6 decades of American history.
Since African Americans were not allowed to read or write during slavery, it took many years for the black writers in the U.S. to receive their recognition of their talents. Their stories were untold, unheard, and unpublished for centuries. Despite these limitations, Phyllis Wheatley was able to become the first black person to publish a book when her collections of poems was printed in 1773. This is partly because she was a slave in Boston and not on a plantation in the South. Laws were different there, and her owners had a different mindset, so eventually they granted her freedom. You heard one of her poems earlier in the program. Other famous African American poets like Margaret Walker, the first Black Pulitzer Prize winner, Gwendolyn Brooks, and Maya Angelou will be featured in today's program. And the African American canon also includes novelists like Richard Wright, Ralph Ellison, Pulitzer Prize winner Alice Walker, and Toni Morrison, who is the first African American to ever win a Nobel Prize for literature. Plus, there are playwrights like August Wilson, Lorraine Hansberry, and Tyler Perry, and screenwriters like Spike Lee, the Wayans brothers, and Chris Rock. Each of these writers has made us laugh, made us cry, or made us feel something deep inside with the power of the written word.
A Dream Deferred by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like syrupy sweet? Maybe it just shakes like a heavy load, or does it explode? The unfair laws and restriction known as Jim Crow prevents black people from gaining true equality in the USA, despite the constitutional protection promising them complete freedom. In the South especially, freedom only existed on paper. Black people were assaulted, attacked, or even lynched and killed only for doing normal things, like eat in a restaurant or attend schools. This could not last. Oppressed people could not oppress forever. So they began to fight for their rights, to be treated as equal everywhere they went. new leaders emerged who chose different ways of fighting for freedom. Men like Malcolm X were willing to commit violent acts if need be, in order to gain what was right and fair. Men like Dr. Martin Luther King took a different approach and believed that peaceful protest would be the best way to win hearts and minds. In many parts of the U.S., black people and white people protested this injustice together, but the biggest protest of all started on a bus.
Thank you, ma'am. Girl, move. Can't you see the ladies waiting to sit down?
What are you waiting for? Get to the back of the bus.
You know the rules. You can sit there when the bus is empty. Once the white passengers get on, you belong to the back. So we're out. Make her welcome. Let them teach her place.
Lady, what are you waiting for? Don't start any trouble. Come on, get here. You can have my seat. I'm tired. I'm tired, she says. What are you doing? These people will put you in jail. You know that?
Tired? What do I care? You know the rules. You know the law. You can sit there when the bus is empty. You know the rules. You know the law. The bus won't move till you get to the back of the bus. But I don't care how tired it is.
Misunderstood me, sir. I'm not tired physically. I'm tired of keeping here. I don't feel like you can stand up, so I'm staying in this here.
I'll call the police.
You may do that. Please be minded to ride this bus. If it's long, please, you know what we should do? Boycott! 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 Boycott!
After leading the Montgomery bus boycott at the age of 26, Martin Luther King became a major civil rights leader. He led many peaceful protest marches to try and obtain basic civil rights for black people. In Washington, D.C. on August 28, 1963, he gave what is possibly the most famous speech in all of human history.
Martin Luther King by a known author. We remember MLK honored on this special day. He had a dream that we would stand united together in this land, that we would strive to find a way to live as friends in peace today. He wanted each of us to see the beauty of equality. He taught that right overcomes wrong, that hope can turn the weak to strong, and showing love instead of hate would make our country truly great. His message means to set us free, was filled with hope for you and me. So on this day, let freedom ring as we remember Dr. King.
And so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold this truth to be self-evident that all men are created equally. I have a dream that one day, on the red hills of Georgia, sons of farmer slaves and sons of farmer slave owners will be able to sit together at the table of brothers. I have a dream that one day, my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, little black boys and little black girls can hold hands with little white boys and little white girls as brothers and sisters. I have a dream today, and when we allow freedom ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we're free at last.
Sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. I looked over Jordan and what did I see? Coming forth to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming forth to carry me home.